Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on August 21st, 2023 at approximately 4:27 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the ones I personally guide my own life by. So this is not a question of here's a couple of ideas that may work. These are methods that have been tried and used successfully by myself as well as several thousand other people. And the only question of success with the use of them really relies on your own personal effort. So before I get into things, let us take a look at who is in the chat room. What do we got here? Oh, nice. I'll figure that out afterwards. Anyway, we have Black. Whoop, and that's going to have to wait. No, it won't. Give me a second. Hello. It is. I appreciate that. Oh, perfect. I will be in tomorrow to get it. Thanks, Houston. Okay, ciao. I was thinking I wasn't going to take that, and then figured that's my figurine supplier. And a figure that I'd asked about has arrived. Now, that said, as we know, anything goes pretty much on this chat, or on this stream. There we go. Now, in with the gold, we have Black Dragon. And welcome aboard, Black Dragon. I think this is the first one I've seen you get in with the gold. Well done. Now, I know, obviously, Black Dragon, when you come in, you go Semper Fi. Now, I would love to use that, only, in my opinion, I don't have the functional right for it because I never was personally in the military. Now, coming in the second, but do understand, Black, that, my thoughts are certainly with the veterans and the ongoing military that are constantly stepping up in front of the plate. Now, we have with the silver, football. Football Cat is there. And Steve Knox is in with the bronze. And then we slide down, and then we have Nathan coming in with honorable mention. And we have Raven coming in. And I hope I have. So I hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just double checking here. Now, where is... I am hoping... There we are. Perfect. Okay. Now, with that in mind, okay, we start off the first one through the door here with a website that it was like with a live stream is Nathan. So, let's see here. We have Nathan with the Quantum Show. Now, today is, what the heck is today? Monday, I think. So, we go copy that, bring that down. And Chad, how you doing? Just saw you pop in there. Now, this is Nathan's stream, so absolutely drop in, give him a listen. Okay, if you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then share the daylights out of it. Now, next through the door with a live stream, and rest assured, this is not a question of they are more important. The reality is every single one of you is extremely important. Okay, now Raven, where is Ravens? What do we got here? I think Raven was next in with the stream. Yep. So we go way down here and we find out where... Here is the link to Raven's live stream. Apparently, I can't talk today. Okay, so this is the link to Raven's stream. Absolutely drop in, give her a listen. If you like what she has to say, absolutely give her a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Then share the daylights out of the thing. Okay. And then we have right behind Raven, I just saw Chad come in. And we have Chad coming through the door here. And again, all I'm doing with this, the way I see it, you, like every one of you, is supporting me by sharing your time with me. And this is extremely important. With people that have a live stream, I am thereby able to actually turn around and go, okay, here is the link to their live stream. This is why I put them in there. And rest assured, if I didn't feel that they were quality people with quality streams, there's no way I'd be putting it in. But this is who just put up there. Good memory. That is the link to Chad Smith's podcast. And again, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of the thing. And then as we go down here, well, let's move that up so it quits rolling on me. And we have, I do believe, Shadow just came in. I did see that. Matter of fact, Shadow actually got through the door before Chad did. But this is the link to Shadow and Sun stream. Okay, so we take that, we pop that in here, and we go paste. And that is the link to Shadow and Sons. So do give his link a click. Take a listen to what he has to say. If you like what he's saying, do give him a thumbs up. And then subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Okay. Now again, whenever you're subscribing to any one of these channels, do remember to click that little bell, the alarm button, to let you know when the next edition comes out. Okay. Now the same thing applies here. If you like our stream, absolutely give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then share the daylights out of it. That would be really appreciated. Okay, now, oh, I forgot to do that. Okay, I will get to that in a second. Anyway, we copy this. Now, if you're striving to get a hold of me, of course, there's a lot of ways of doing it. But if you look below any one of my videos, you'll find a whole list of ways of getting a hold of me. Okay, but that being said, this is the link, and this is the email that is most effective in getting a hold of me. Okay, it's also the same email design that is used to order any books that you're looking to purchase. Okay, that is the email that I use for PayPal, so it pretty much is all inclusive. Now, with this in mind, I decided to look at this and go, okay, it's Monday. We can sit here and we can worry about things. We can worry about the world coming to a close anytime we'd like. I personally don't see the point. Okay. Now, I appreciate that, Black Dragon. With you, it's not quite so bad. It's not a question of being bad. I have a massive beef with people doing that participate in what is called, accurately so, stolen valor. I have a massive beef with them. And I'm not even permanent. I'm not even a functionally military. But this is where that issue comes in. Now that said, I have had some really good news recently, but here's the short one. Okay, we are now up to 541 subscribers. What I mentioned when I said, oh, I forgot to do that, my son actually pointed out that I can put a link to, and he showed me how to do it oddly, and not oddly, how to put a link in my post to say, okay, this is what we're talking about today. I'll be on at this time. He showed me how to put the link in. And somebody else probably did, but I forgot to do it today when I was putting it out and when I was putting them out. Okay, but where are we? I figured out how to stop the chat room from scrolling, because I'm also looking at the YouTube channel that you're seeing. It's on this screen. Okay, and then of course where I'm looking at is right in front of me. Now, I decided I was going to look at this whole issue. How do you formulate your future regardless of what your past is? Well, the first thing we have to realize is that there's nothing you can do to change where your past was, what you've been through. Okay, that's one of these odd things that is going on. Now, I'm still I'm looking into, and I would love to talk to somebody. This is a straight out invite for any of you. I'd like to talk to somebody that is a little more versed in walk-ins than what I am. Okay. I'm not going to talk to you on the line like while I'm on the air here. Okay. Simply because I don't know enough about it, and the whole conversation would go sideways in one heck of a hurry. Okay. Now let's just see. We scroll down a little and see what we got. Okay. So I mean, I'm looking at this going, the easiest way to turn this world around is literally to start communicating. Now, I have an announcement that I will make before the end of the show, or if one particular individual shows up in here. Okay. But until I know he is in here or the end of the show, I won't be making the comment. And you're just gonna have to live with that. But you'll be happy to know this does involve a regular, and it's a message directly to them, which is why I desire them in the chat room. Okay, but with this in mind, guys, when you're formulating your own future, it doesn't matter where you came from. Okay, doesn't make, and thank you so much there, Chad. It doesn't matter what you've gone through in life. I mean, it matters in as much as what you went through is what you went through. But whatever any of you have gone through, you're all in the same boat now. You're right here, right now. So let's get started in formulating your new life. And I don't mean you have to end this one. I mean you literally are going to you're going to transmute your current life to the life you desire to follow. Okay. And literally the sky is the limit. Whatever you put your mind to, this is what you're going to manage to accomplish. Now, we've been getting updates from Nathan, okay, periodically, about the progress he's making with his endeavor to make essentially a speeder bike. I don't know, Nathan, have you actually come up with a name for the thing yet? And I mean a working name. It's more a curiosity thing on my part than anything else. Okay. But let me get the light, not the light, gonna fall down here. That's always fun. Not. Yeah, the last couple of days it's been really cool here. Philip, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Okay. Yeah, Nathan goes, "I'm on the drive is all I got." Gonna have to work on something to that effect. Of course, from my standpoint, I am learning a great deal in my poking around. I'm learning a great deal about the whole issue of marketing. Of course, if you're doing this for yourself, marketing, it doesn't matter. Somehow, I don't think it's just going to settle at that personally, but oh no, I mean, it's been actually really cool right now, as in a nice, relaxing temperature. Right now, our temperature is sitting at a Hey, what the heck is that? I don't need that. Oh, I love laptop or cell phones. They work so well for me. Not. Okay, clearly I'm not going to be able to get that. I was going to look for the forecast coming up, but right now we're sitting at 26, which is 45, which is we're under 70 degrees. 26 divided by 5 is 5 times 9 is 45. Sorry, no, we are not. 45 and 32 is 76 degrees. That's not bad. So yeah, a whole lot less, a whole lot cooler than what it's been. Now, what do we got here? Yeah, I mean, from my standpoint, it really boils down to this, Nathan. Way too many. I mean, let's face it, copywriting something that was done 4,000 years ago might be a problem. But in today's world, it's anybody's guess. Oh, no, I was thinking of that, but fortunately, where it comes to the conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit and back, finally remembered the formula. But I actually went through school at the time the transitions were being built, so I got the formulas for for conversion. And fortunately, math was actually a reasonable function of mine. You know, I mean, it's amazing. What an odd thought. I don't even know if you could do this, Nathan. But there's got to be when you're working on your stuff with Mercury. Take a look now. I'm pretty certain you've got a sonic projector there of some form. If you've got one that you can measure in decibels, see what happens with the Mercury based on a modification of sonic wave, sonic wavelength. No, I somehow don't think so. No, the Arborians, in all fairness, don't. And like humans, the reality is humans and anyone that is still, sad to say, and don't take offense to this if you can avoid it, most of the civilizations that still have a greed component still look at copyright. Oh, that's my stuff. Most of the races that are out there have figured out that it's race first, person second. Now, this doesn't mean individuals don't become prosperous. Yeah, that would be that. Yeah, there you go. For me, Philip, it was your basic algebra. Okay, I have no idea if I ever got into pre-calculus. So I don't even know what it is. Well, yeah, and you'll need one of those anyway. But why? Like you'll need one of the ones that deals with frequencies as well. All I was getting is that something with the mercury, modifying it based on sound and light, will have a direct bearing on the subquantum level of what you're aiming at doing. And yeah, I realize I'm working on an odd way of looking at the world. I sort of got used to it as far as that went. But that's the first thing as far as the whole idea. We are all sitting in exactly the same place. Okay. Whatever led you to this point in your life, this is where things have started to change. Okay. And this is why we're all sitting in the same boat. Now, I do have to, I'm going to do something here eventually, but am I missing anybody? Well, before that does that, let us scroll that up just so it doesn't. Okay. I'll keep an eye on it as things move along. But the first thing you got to do is take a look at where you're standing and go, okay, um, Oh, here's the thing, Philip. Number one, the Arboreans themselves, first and foremost, they do what they can. But there's only so much they can do because, unlike humans, they do not have the wherewithal to move great chunks of water. What they can do, and what you don't see happen, is they will tear a bank apart, given that they get go ahead to do so. But they take their guidance directly from Esau. They can't bring water bombers in and drop the water. They can't adjust the rain. Okay, but what they can do, given go ahead, is they can breach the gap or breach the banks of a river in order to flood the local area and make it and I'm talking about going with fresh water, not salt water. Okay, but you don't hear about it because it happens out in the wilderness. But they will breach the gap, they will breach the banks in order to help deal with the fire and protect the other animals and the plants. The go ahead from whom would be the go ahead from Esau herself. You know her as Mother Earth, as Gaia, as Earth, as Mother Nature. Okay. The Arboreans know her as Mother. Okay. So this is who they wait for. And of course, she's the one that's got dominant control or dominant say over what happens. But you got to also remember, part of the reason the fires are being let burn, part of it is because it is her way of cleaning up deadfall, of making sure that the cycle of life continues. Part of the reason that human buildings are being burned is because humans are not taking care, they are not doing their job, and therefore Esau is just saying, hey, I'm not happy. Well, it'll kill them. The reality is salt water will kill most Arboreans. There are a few Arboreans, not the least of which, by the way, you'll love this one. I don't know what the name is called, but the various types of seaweed are actually, some of those are actual Arboreans. They've just adjusted to salt water. Oh, what do we got here? Joe, I didn't see you come in. Joe's saying I've been having up to 3 dreams a day. Missed writing them down. They'll always be loopy too. Well, loopy is just normal, I think. That's the nice part about it. What do I got? Need that out of the way. That particular file added to that, but that gets filed for a minute. So we go way back here to the file. Like I said, very important to stay on top of things and keep them organized. Deal with that afterwards. Book letter. Where is letters? Okay, L. Okay. Now, yes, I end up getting up and moving around. And by the way, yes, I mean, Philip, we are looking at a kelp forest. If you do any scuba diving, you'll run into them. Okay, now you may not realize you're running into an arborean, but you'll certainly find kelp. But today I was going through a whole pile of things. Today's been busy. What do I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17. I managed to get 17 tasks out of the way. Now, bear in mind, some of these are just emails I had to respond. That I just had to respond to. Ange, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I trust your day has been going well. Now I will tell you guys, and I'll mention this again later. Because where are we here? We are on, let me find out what date I'm on, which gives you an idea just how well that works. Yeah, it wouldn't be this Friday. Next Friday may be interesting. Okay, as in the first of September. Okay, normally being the first day of the first Friday of the month. Normally I end up doing the ET connection on Spaced Out Radio. With that in mind, this is the link to Spaced Out Radio. Okay. And again, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do subscribe to the channel and then share the daylights out of it. Now, the reason I bring this up is September 1st is the first Friday of the month. Normally, that would be my day. But because of the fact it looks like Dave is finally going to be taking, after years, taking a holiday, we've already talked, and if that happens, then we're going to be doing it on the second one. It'll still stay on the first as a regular, but on September itself, we'll be looking at likely going on September 8th. Okay. Philip, let me take a peek here. I just gotta see if I've got it there. Wonder if it's, or did I move it to the box? Anyway, what do we got here? Philip is going, a friend was just talking about Crowley's magical system. I was very confused. Is that Crowley magic book you showed us easy-ish to follow? And how difficult is it? I'd like to get the hang of it. Okay. I'm going to go double check something because I'm going to see if I'm right. Give me 10 seconds. Well, probably give me about 15 seconds, but I'll be back ASAP. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's here. Bingo. Turns out I didn't have to go very far. Hey, would you look at that? I remembered to close the door. That's absolutely amazing. Anyway, Philip, here's a question for you. I cannot tell you whether it's easy to read or not, whether it's easy to understand. Me, I haven't had any problem really understanding it. Some of it is written, a lot of it is written in Old English in some of the excerpts and what have you that you get. Okay, but from my standpoint, it's easy enough to understand. I don't know if it will be for you. Okay, so I'll put it to you this way, Philip, and this is quite literally a direct question to you. Okay, this book in particular was written in 91, or more to the point, was copyrighted in 91. I have no idea when he first did it, but I'm just reading out of the book itself. Here's an odd question, because can you find it? The answer is yes. Because what it is Magic in Theory and Practice by Crowley. Now, you got one of two choices. I can either send this particular one to you, at which point I will need your physical address, but that's easy enough to get to me. Okay. Or I can just, look up the ISBN number on it. Essentially, yes. Okay. To give you an example, I just spotted that at the beginning of the book here. If we go at the beginning of the book, oh, that's a hymn to Pan. That's why that's weird. Most of this is pretty straightforward English. Okay. And it does tell you this book is for every man, woman, and child. My former work has been misunderstood and its scope limited by my use of technical terms. It has attracted only too many dilettanti and eccentrics, weaklings seeking in magic an escape from reality. I myself was first consciously drawn to the subject in this way, and it has repelled only too many scientific and practical minds, such as I most designed to influence. Okay, now, as it turns out, I've still got it in my possession. So, what do we got here? Black Dragon goes, now you tell me, Philip, does that mean I need to stop dating the alien? The way I look at it is this. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. iWalks, how you doing? By the way, that may not have been quite as alien as you might think. And no, we're not getting into that conversation. Thank you very much. But let's stop that from scrolling, because sooner or later that's going to be a problem. So I've managed to get a whole bunch of things done here. What was it? I was thinking I had to check something there. Now, when you take a look at where you're standing right this moment, okay, again, it boils down to what do you see as success, or what do you see as enjoyable? I've been getting rid of a staggering amount of stuff lately. Okay, in order to clear the room, to make room for other stuff coming in. Terry Brown, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, everybody has a dream in your life that you'd like your life better in one aspect or another. So, shall we get on with making that happen? Okay, doesn't matter what the dream is, doesn't matter what the goal is. We're talking about taking yourself from where you are right now and moving forward. Okay, and moving forward to be able to actually change the path your life is on, thereby change your prosperity level. Okay, so the one thing you start with, just pick one thing you're not content with. In my case, like I said, I've managed to get 17 little tasks out of the way. Okay, and now it's time to start wrapping them up. Yeah, Black Dragon's just talking about his other half, I think. And he goes, not sure about good chemistry, but she knows how to cook. Oddly enough there, Philip, I can understand that all too well. Okay, this is why you keep seeing the stuff all laid out, the paperwork and what have you, laid out on my bed. Okay, because I got a whole pile of things here that I really don't require. I don't require them in my bedroom, but I haven't gotten around to sorting them out. That's up front. Of course it's up front. Wouldn't you know it? But take a look at where you're standing. Doesn't matter what the goal is. Okay. You desire your future to change. You've got to accept the fact that your past has occurred. And there is not a whole lot you can do about what you've already done, except acknowledge the fact you did it and commit to not repeating it if it was a bad move, if you found it to be a bad move. The nice part about it is that there is nothing there is only your own drive and your own focus and potentially your own knowledge on how to change your life that's getting in your way, as it were. Okay, so the first thing I've been doing is I got my office desk cleared to the point that I don't have to worry about it now. those are two that I've got to deal with, but where the heck is it? Ow, that was painful. That one's not going anywhere. Oh, no. That's this one here. So I have started getting a lot of things done. I'm actually in the process of getting a number of things tied off so that I can actually make headway. But think what we got. Yeah, that's just it, Ange. I mean, just to put that in practical terms, call your right foot the present and your left foot the past. Okay, now we're going to start with your right foot. And you're going to go to step forward, move into the future. So you're going to go from the present to the future. Okay, you're going to take a step. Now, we'll be nice and go only take a 1 foot step, like just barely ahead. Okay, now, we're going to hang on to the past, which is what most of you have been taught, myself included, have been taught to do. Hold on to the past, beat yourself black and blue because you didn't do something. So we're just going to move the right foot. Now, we're not going to let go of the past. We're going to hang on to that and keep your left foot planted. Now, take another step forward. Sooner or later, you may run into a problem. Now, where are we? I must have missed something there. Because I know Terry popped in here. But what I don't know is who Potocki is. And, well, there you go. That's why it's not a who. But this is what I get for watching the chat room. Every now and again, I get sidetracked. Now, you try and move forward, so you move just the present foot forward. Do not move your past. Hang on to that past with everything you've got, which is what most of us have been taught. Sooner or later, you're going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to go any further forward until you let go of the past. Because in case you hadn't noticed, you have to, if you're going to walk, you sort of have to go 1 step, 2 step. You move the right foot, then the left foot. Okay, and you move it forward. If you're not letting go of the past, walking becomes a problem. Okay. Yeah, it's funny there. I was, Chad, I was down in Detroit years ago. And the one thing I noticed, for having, and we're talking probably 20, maybe 30 years ago now. Okay. And when I was down there, it struck me odd. The Detroit known as, at least I was told it was such a going concern for vehicles. For the condition the roads were in at that time, it was just insane. Philip goes, I've never been to Michigan, but I am convinced that Michigan really does exist. It's funny. My son has been watching a bunch of debates. Okay. And, he asked why I don't listen to them. And I'm like, he doesn't complain about it. Right. I'm like, the debates people have, they keep missing major points. And I'm just not interested in proving to people what I'm looking at. The reality is most of what I know I cannot prove. Primarily because it comes from a place I can't exactly explain. But once you get in your head that you've got to put the negative past behind, they've been debating all sorts of things. Like, for instance, debating evolution versus creationism, or debating women's rights, or the whole transgender thing. And these are ongoing topics that I just plain don't bother. Jack goes, we like to keep our roads really crappy here so the auto industry remains busy. Well, as twisted as that probably sounds, it makes sense. But no, I'm talking about my son is paying a lot of attention to the modern debates and the modern arguments that are going on. And then he just gives me the brief highlights. This is how I stay on top of things as far as modern politics and modern research goes. You know, if I want modern news, I go and talk to the Arborians. Okay. You know, so I mean, from my standpoint, it's a real simple issue. Take a look at where your life is. Now, what I've been doing, okay. You know, what I've been doing is going, okay, what have I not been doing? And this is why I ask you guys, you've got to be kidding. No, you probably aren't. You know, Phil's just going, there's a heated debate on whether or not it's okay to put ketchup on hot dogs. The way I figure it, it's not toxic. Well, not any more than anything else. You know, and then the rest of the regular food. But, you know, I mean, I will sit down, and this is what I mean by my diet is not what you would consider something to write nice things about. I'll take a package of a dozen hot dogs. I'll put, you know, I'll toss them in the mic, and then just the wieners. Put ketchup on them and eat them. Yeah, the debates are absolutely bizarre lately. But what I find in a debate is more often than not, especially with the ones that I've seen bits and pieces of, somebody on one side of the debate will say something. The person on the other side will take it totally out of context and, you know, and try and make an argument with it. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you know, the reality of it is that when we look at debating, like the methods I talk about using, okay, you could absolutely sit there and tell me they don't work. Be my guest. Okay, they may not work for everybody, but I will tell you they have worked for thousands of people thus far. You know, and let me just see something here. Book, where is book 12? There. We currently have, now, I'm aiming for 400 pages by the time I get done. Okay, right now in the Return to Paradise, I am sitting on 351. Okay, so I've got all laid out. Now it's just taking the time. Okay, I'm just way behind on that. I know that now. I gotta ask you, Black Dragon. I know there is a city, or at least I was told there's a city down there somewhere in the States called Hell. Okay, I've never looked into it personally. Where are we here? Yeah, goal oriented debates are great. And this is why I look at what I'm doing and go, okay, this is what I've done. Now, I've turned around and I've actually, you know, I've started clearing up some of the old stuff, but the moving forward is the critical factor. Because, like I said, if you hold on to the past, you're not going to be walking forward. I originally likened it to trying to go across a set of monkey bars. But the reality is, not everybody can use monkey bars anyway. But most people, if they can't walk, they can certainly understand the concept. You know, and that's just the reality of it. Oh, there we are. I wonder. Let's try something bizarre. Go on here and we go. No, I want city. I'm just going to type in City of Hell and see if that works. city of hell. Yep, Hell, Michigan is an actual city. You know, it's actually a township by the look of this. Let's open that up. Hell. Where is the nearest one? Trying to figure out where it's close to. But yeah, it's an interesting little place, but it really does exist. It's got this neat little place. There we go. In the Putnam Township in Michigan. And what do we got here? I'm just glancing to see if I can find, like, it seems to be dang near in the middle of nowhere, but you know, what the heck. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's all Putnam Township. Whole bunch of little places. But yeah, where are we? It's just south of the I-36. Can't tell you how far, but it really is a town. Yeah. You know, which is great from that end. And let's just stop that from. You know, started slinging big words. Yeah. At one point, this debate from the 60s got a bit heated. They started slinging big words with twinkles in their eyes. One called the other an antediluvian. Whoa, an antediluvian flibbertigibbet. Now, I will tell you, years ago we had a much more creative vocabulary. You know, I mean, let's face it. You take a look at the movie at Bambi. Oh no, not at Bambi, rather Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. When you know Clarice was told that nope, that's wrong. It was with Bambi, where Thumper told Bambi that Bambi was Twitter pated. Okay, boiled down to meaning he was in love. Now, I will tell you, the creative side of things has been a little bit different at this point. Okay, and it has been stagnating. But that said, let's put your creative mind to work, and let's see what we can do about about guiding you to change your life for the better. Okay, kind of an important factor in my eyes if you're not happy with everything going on around you. Now, I will tell you, if I can get it up. That sounds bad, but I have no idea. Okay, fine, we dump it this way. Can't get the thing to let go and get the information I desire. And therefore, I shut the phone off, give it a couple of seconds, I'll fire it back up, and then I'll dump the setting on it. But no, the reality is, when you look at where your life is, you simply have to look at it and go, okay, I'm not content with where it is. What am I going to do to change that? You know, to alter the energy around my life. Now, in my case, it's been a very simple issue. I just took a look at the whole 9 yards and went, I'm not happy with it the way it is. Okay. Would you mind working? What do you think? There we are. Okay. Now, if I look at the 10-day forecast here, holy mackerel. Later tonight, it looks like we're going to get rain. Sad part is tomorrow they're getting rain and lightning, and then on Tuesday, no, wait a minute. Tuesday it looks like they're going to get rain and lightning up here, and then Wednesday we get more rain. So that will be handy. The problem is that a week down the road, like we're not out of the woods yet, but we are starting to make headway, at least in my eyes. Well, we are talking about back now, when you take a look at that, Philip, we had with the question of making them seem more passive, more, friendlier, that sort of thing. Of course, I don't know about you, but I'm not sure where you'd end up with I had a gaming character named Thumper, but Thumper had a temperament problem and no pain center. But no, many of the people, Henry, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The reality is it's time to create the world you desire. If you're happy with the way your world is, this is great. In my eyes, not so much so. This is why I'm going through the different books. Through the different stuff that I've got, and literally getting rid of it. Okay. Now that book I should put back on the shelf because I haven't quite finished going through it. Where do I want to put it? Where do we put it just to get it out of the way? Right there will work. But no, it boils down to this. You take a look at where your world is and go, what are you up to? Now, in this case, question for you guys. Okay, at this point, I haven't booked anything. Today, where the heck is my pen? Well, the pencil works, but I don't like that. There it is. We are looking at okay, and that was enough dead time. Tomorrow, we are looking at getting back on track here. And this really boils down to how you go about setting your life up for a shift. Now, I'm going to be dealing with something to do with the off-worlders or ancient races tomorrow. Okay, what I don't know, and I'm quite open to suggestions at this point, is what topic you guys would like me to look at. And bear in mind, this is in no way indicative of me ever leaving Dave's show. Because unless Dave tells me I'm not welcome there, I'm certainly not ending my Friday run on his show. But we're looking at tomorrow is going to be focusing on something to do with the ancient races, with the off-worlders, depending on which one we're dealing with or which aspect. But I'm quite open to suggestions at this point because I'd like to get a bunch of them, and I'm going to do this one at a time. Or maybe all at the same time. But what I'm looking at is Tuesday is the 22nd. Okay, and that's the day that we talked about a while ago about looking at the alien side of things. Because rest assured, the functional difference between any of the other races and humans is they've got different toys. They still suffer from the same problems. Okay. Yeah, just because they've got more advanced toys does not mean that they are more socially adept. Granted, their arguments in what you would call Parliament. You've seen, if you've ever watched Parliament itself on Earth, okay, you've seen people get in screaming matches with each other. The guys in many of these off-world races, they go one further and they open fire. Not necessarily a civilized maneuver, but it is entertaining if you're not involved. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to take half a moment out here and do is to any of the first responders that are out there, your firemen, your policemen, your ambulance drivers, your EMTs, any one of them, okay, or more to the point, every one of them, including the military, okay, absolutely, from my standpoint, I really want to say give a real big hats off to all of them. Because I'll tell you, if it weren't for them, we'd be in a lot worse shape. And this is just something that way too many people, if you will, seem to take for granted. Okay, and I'm just looking at this here. Philip's going, a good debate your son might enjoy. James Baldwin versus Henry versus William F. Buckley. Oh, okay. I will have to write that down here. Yeah, and unless I stop that, there we go. James Baldwin versus William. I'm just literally marking that down so that I can actually turn it over to him and let him take a look. But I do appreciate the suggestion, or the lead, or whatever you want to call it. And we have versus William F. Buckley at, I think I saw a correction there. Yep. Cambridge, where are we? Okay, at Cambridge Union. At Cambridge Union, how do you spell that? With the 1965. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Philip. I will pass that on to him when I get off this stream. Okay, because he has taken a lot more, he pays a lot more attention to it than I do. Primarily because I get hung up on the idea of somebody goes, here's a comment, we'll take that comment completely out of context and put it elsewhere. Which doesn't work for me. Now, what I'm doing right now, so we look at this issue. Okay, you've got your life where it is. If you're content, this is great. Now, in my case, what do I got here? Did I do that? Double check parcel packaging. And let us go back over to this just to make sure. And we hit refresh. And look at that. I got nothing new in the way of alerts. This is an excellent thing. Because I would much rather not have a whole pile of new evacuation notices. So I'm looking at this going, I've got a list of things I've got to get done. And I'm already at 1, 2, 3, 4. I've already got 5 that I've started with. But, I've been encouraging my son to pay more attention. I encourage you guys to pay more attention to what's going on in the world, not just in your own little community. Now, I will tell you, this is one of these things where I will absolutely point blank say, I'm suggesting you look into it, get a handle on what's going on. I'll tell you flat out, I'm not going to listen to the news. I'm just not that interested in it. So that's one area where I will tell you, it's a good idea to stay on top of things. I've got a filter system. I've got two sons living with me. Okay, one is 18, seems to be getting more and more interested in the debates, in the politics, the whole 9 yards. And the other one is 25 and thankfully enjoys cooking when he gets his mind to it. Okay, because rest assured, cooking is not my strong suit. So I talk to them, and then I go out and talk to the animals. Like, I get a lot of information from the finches that are outside my door here, like right outside my window. That's where I get most of my information. Okay, which granted, I can't exactly say Chickadee 1 said such and such. But do I make a point of striving to stay on top of things? Absolutely. One of the big things I've got to deal with, that was something I should deal with. And I know I asked the question yesterday regarding this issue of should I focus on one book or all of them at the same time? And it seemed to be a mixed batch as to which way to go with it. And so I'll figure that one out as I'm going along. Yeah, Henry, I'm just looking back here. Henry goes, I sat in on question period in Alberta Parliament. It's like a room full of kindergartners screaming at each other. Yeah, and this is what we're calling leaders. This is what we're talking about when people go, when's the government going to come clean and tell us what's going on? Good luck with that thought. Yeah, Phil goes, I'm not good at cooking, but I'm very good at adding milk and brown sugar to black coffee. Well, just so long as you're not adding either milk I can work with. Brown sugar is a better option than white sugar, but just don't add any to my coffee. Because that, I will put sugar on I'm going to eat sugar straight if I have to. And as you've seen, I don't mind pop. Or what you guys down in the States seem to call soda. It's the same dang thing. Now let us take a look here. Whoop, shouldn't have done that. Put that there. Now, what I'm looking at here is I've got a bunch of things that have to change. A bunch of material has got to go the way of the Yldrbac or get put back where it belongs. And of course, little things that have to be sorted around. Okay, that goes in there. I don't even know where that went. In case you're wondering what I'm pulling off the table, off the bed here. Yeah, off the table. That's what it looks like on occasion. Just a bunch of stuff I had in my satchel that's actually got to go elsewhere. Because unless I get this done, it always runs around in circles. Move it from here to over there and back. I got to stop that. Because I will tell you, continually moving it from one place to another is not a good way of solving things. But it really boils down to looking at the way your life is and going, what do you do? Well, the first thing you do, get an idea in your head, not of what you think your life will look like in 10 years. Look at where your life is right this moment. Okay, because the thing is, when you take a look at your life the way it is right now, when you identify what you're not content with, and you change the energy around the thing you're not content with, thereby turning it into something you are content with, all you're left with at the end of the day is a life that you're happy with. That's the key to really shifting gears and turning your life into the life you desire. Okay, for me, it really boils down to I spent 60 years trying to hide from me. Well, realistically, 50 years. Because my higher senses became public knowledge when I was 10 years old, and nothing has been the same since. Well, it's always been the same. It's always been screwy. Ever since then. So, I'm taking a look at things and going, what am I not content with? Well, one of the things I'm not content with is the way that this is all laid out here. Okay. What's that? That's my... Oh, yeah. That's that neat little thing called my medicine bag that is sitting there just in case we have to bug. Okay, well, that's enough of that. It really is an issue of if you're content with the way things are, this is great. But look at what you're not content with. Okay, now people keep telling me, oh, change is difficult, it's painful, it's scary. Tell you, change is one consistent constant in the universe. Not a fun thing. And yeah, in case you hadn't noticed, this, not the sideburns, but all this is going to go as soon as I get off the stream. Because quite frankly, it's too hot and it's getting to be itchy and what have you, so it's going. In all fairness, Black Dragon, I don't even know what a French press is. Okay. I know it's some sort of machine used for something, but that was pretty much the extent of it. Oh, wild. Well, that's an interesting setup. That's okay, I'll do that down there. But all these little bits and pieces, in case you hadn't noticed, I did come to the conclusion that waiting for things to straighten out wasn't working for me. But I've been keeping an eye on what we got. Phil's just going, I understand my heart always weeps this time of year as children like we were are sent to school to be punished for thinking. Well, this is the thing. YouTube, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Thank you so much for that message. I did actually, in case you hadn't noticed, I did actually respond to it, but I have no idea what it was at this point. Okay. I have been doing my best to get back to them. But no, the reality of it is this. I'm looking at the way my world is going. I've got to get it straightened out. But where are we here? Tomorrow is the 22nd. Okay. And the 22nd, oh, where did that thing go? Was it this binder or this book? Yep. See, when I say I've got a list of things that I work with, tomorrow I've got a couple of things that I have to do, and this simply helps me. That was not fun. This simply helps me keep things organized. So, turn around, and tomorrow is the 22nd. 08222023. And we go. I'm just marking down a couple of things I've got to get done tomorrow. And yes, I realize I'm doing this online, but like I said, this is a question of these are tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. This is not just a thought process. And Philip, I absolutely agree with you. As a matter of fact, where is it? To give you an idea of how pertinent that is, this, at least to me, this little book here, okay, this is Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. And literally in it, when you look into it, where are we here? I literally wrote a chapter in it on that literally is called Giving Yourself a Facelift. And what it boils down to is whether you feel like it or not, put a smile on your face. It will up your energy level. It will help you feel better about you. There's a lot of things. I go into some detail in this, including why you may not want to do it. Okay. And like I said, these are simple books written literally because I kept getting asked the exact same question by so many people. Okay. The other thing that you'll find with a smile is quite simply, it's the one gift you can make for absolutely no financial involvement, minimal effort, because I'm lazy, and it's a gift that when you give it to somebody, if they give it back, nobody complains. Nobody complains at all about it. So I do have to. I've got to make that phone call tomorrow. It's absolutely critical on Black Dragon. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got no taste buds to start with, but thanks for clarifying that there, Black Dragon. Black Dragon is literally gone. He goes, French press is not a machine. You add hot water to a container and then use coarse ground coffee to it. Press a metal filter down. It leaves the oil in the coffee, which enhances the flavor or enhances the taste. No, I fired the Ghostbusters. Fact of the matter is, I offer refuge to the ghosts. So I can't see much point in calling the Ghostbusters. That's how I've ended up with so many in my house. I'll run into a ghost that's having troubles adjusting. And it's like, look, come and pull up a stunt. And, pull up a stump. Do not play with me. Do not steal from me. Don't create a problem. I do not welcome extra illnesses in the house, so don't bring them. And quite frankly, it gets really hectic around here on occasion. But, I did, on the other hand, I did enjoy both Ghostbusters 1, 2, and 3 wasn't entirely bad. Okay. Wasn't as good as some of the others, in my opinion. But was it enjoyable enough? The answer is yes. I'm not quite certain what they were trying to do with it, which is why I said it wasn't as good. I never did figure that part out. But the reason I'm laying things out here. Oh, by the way, in the actual answer to the question, no, I'm not going to be calling the Ghostbusters. But there's an organization here in town linked directly to the government that if they choose to help me out, which I'll find out in a little while, that will make things easier for me. But it's not going to determine whether I'm doing anything. Okay. I've decided I'm building an empire. I'm building a publishing company. And come heck or high water, I'm going to do it. Whether I've got backup or not, I don't know. Okay, I'm literally looking at this chat room going, you're the guys and girls that inspire me to really push my own limits. Okay, and that's just the way that is. So, if you ever wonder if your opinions matter, to me, they matter a great deal. Most of the ones that actually make it super cold, you can't really blame them. Okay, sometimes when they come over, that's literally an accident. But the ones that come in making foul odors, or making things really uncomfortable, quite often those are ghosts that don't desire to be on this side of the world, on this side of the veil. Okay, those are ones that have been trapped, either because they didn't know how to deal with it. Derek, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And what did I deal with? Oh, Derek, you're the one I was waiting for to come into the room. Okay, because I wanted to say thank you so much. I've been actually paying attention to what you've been saying about the messages in YouTube. I've now gone back. There's a lot more to go. I know this. Okay, but I've started going back, and I'm back to 3 months ago. Everything that's come in recently is current. So from that standpoint, I've been getting that done. I'm now back to 3 months ago, ones that have been sitting. Usually they're ones that all they were was somebody put a thumbs up. But then at the time I looked at it and went, well, I don't have a reason to respond to that. I have learned through you directly, Derek, that actually still warrants a response, which is why I'm going back now to get them cleared up. Quite often, Philip, if a spirit passes away, many times they either don't know that they passed away, quite seriously, or their grip on the modern world, and this boils down to not letting go of the past. Okay, they're still trying to correct things that they should have done before they died, or they're hung up on the idea of, well, I still want my wife, my daughter, my son. I still desire them to do this, and until I see they've done it, I'm not going on. Okay. We just had a major power flicker here on that monitor, not on my main computer. Yeah, and that's just it. But it's literally been because of you there, Derek, that I've actually gone back to do so. Okay. I've been looking at a lot of that and the communication side, but your guys' input has been phenomenally encouraging and supportive. And I'll tell you, we can do this in this room. There is no reason that we can't do it in the world out there. I was walking through the park today, and there was a gentleman stopped and that was sitting on the bench, and he looked a little dejected. So I turned around and I stopped and talked to him for a minute, made sure he was okay, started to and walked away, and I'm just passing a woman that was going the other direction. She looked directly at me and she goes, "Is he?" and points at the guy and goes, "Is he okay?" I says, "Yeah, I just finished talking to him. He's just taking a break." But the fact that we are starting to have an impact on the way people are seeing the world, are reacting to each other, this is the message that has to get out. Everybody's got their hiccups, everybody's got their complications. And yes, I did notice your comment there, Derek, that it helps with the YouTube algorithms. I think when I get done this stream tonight, I'm probably going to make a run at it. Okay, at getting a couple of shorts up. And you can rest assured they won't be clothing. I don't even own short pants anymore. Of course, in all fairness, I don't have the legs to wear short pants. Not with boots. But it's amazing the fact that people are starting to pay attention. And of course, oh, okay, that's car. I thought we had thunder, which would have been great. Although we don't require the lightning. Rain, we could use that right now. Absolutely we could. Philip's going, what helps with YouTube algorithms? Clips. Oh, okay, that's a question. From what I understand there, Philip, from what people have been telling me, some of the shorter views or shorter films are very viable. The really difficult part for me, I've been told to do a minute long one. Well, I have not figured out how to actually get anything of any value out in under a minute. Okay. Unless I just come on the air and go smile. Let's start a pandemic and smile. Which, in all fairness, isn't actually a bad idea. Come to think of it, that's really not a bad idea at all. But, again, and, I'm still running things through my head while I'm talking to you guys about what aspect of the alien races that we should be looking at tomorrow. Because tomorrow is Tuesday, and that is our day to turn to aliens. Okay, not to turn into aliens. Some of you may be there already, but, what the heck. By the way, in case you're wondering what that jump was, I banged my elbow or my knee on the desk. Net result, you get all the shaking of an earthquake. Philip, that's a brilliant idea. That really is. That one I can pull off. Okay, I'm glad you said poem and not a minute-long song, because that one I'm not doing. I wonder what that is. Go back to those afterwards. Yeah, not going to happen there, Derek. I am not happy. Apparently I can't carry a tune, but according to my other half, who happens to be pitch perfect, she has heard me sing because some of the poems, some of the poems and songs that are written in the Yldrbac Chronicles, I've had to sing or read to her in order to help get the punctuation right in the storyline. But am I happy with my singing? No. You might, if you go back through my stream, you may come across 3 or 4 instances where I did. But it's not something I'd be holding on. Yeah, Derek goes, Dave Scott is good at singing happy birthday. I have no doubt about that. I spent most of my life when I was growing up, even though I did end up in the church choir for a while, I was constantly told, you can't sing, you can't carry a tune, so don't sing. Well, eventually it sunk in and I just don't. Now I realize that's other people's opinion. But in this case, my opinion is I'm not good at it either. Oh, nice. But the neat part about it from my standpoint is this. If you're content with it, like for me, I'm not content with my voice. And at this point, I really don't have the inclination to do much with it. Okay. The poetry and what have you, that just is a natural way of life from my end. That, and I'm also starting to wrap up because at Christmas, we have this thing around here where everybody's doing a toy drive. Right. So what I'm looking at is I've got some stuff I'll be getting rid of. Okay. But I have determined that just getting rid of it with nothing won't help much. Okay. So what I'm looking at is something like this. Where is it? Gotta go over here because I can't reach. Okay. I've got a few of these that I ended up picking up over the years. Okay. But take something like that. It's simply an ornament, but with the right attachment to it, with the right poetic attachment to it, it can add a whole lot to somebody's life. Philip goes, I don't know what to say in the comments. Besides, here I am making a comment. This is a comment. I hope you enjoyed this comment. Please feel welcome to respond with a follow-up comment. I've seen worse. And, the reality of it is, where it comes to comments and what have you, I don't say a whole lot. Primarily because, from my standpoint, I really don't see a lot of what I'm doing as that mind-bogglingly impressive. I don't know what I was looking for, but I do know this. Okay, I simply look at what I see, and if it's something that somebody's doing well, absolutely I'll comment on it. Okay, I just don't spend a lot of time going through, like listening to a couple hours long program, because the way I figure it, if I'm trying to listen to a program, except a movie, which I just leave right in the background. Well, that is true there, Philip. Philip goes, every voice can work as a cartoon character. The more distinctive, the better. That's just terrible there, Nathan. Nathan is obviously picking up on this. He goes, this comment follows up, not previous to or thereafter, but following up. Nay, even a standalone independent comment, but a follow-up. And sometimes this is why I say, when somebody comes in here and goes, there are trolls in this place, I'm looking at it going, we've got people that interact in good nature, in good supportive nature on a regular basis. No, I'm not going to start juggling. See, I juggle in one fashion. Throw it up in the air and watch it hit the floor. I just don't like picking them up again. But no, I will be taking a look at that, and then what I'll do is go, okay, here's an ornament that's being given away. Here's a statement for it. Okay, here's a poem to go with it to get you thinking. So it's not just an ornament, but it ties the message to it. To my way of looking at it, if I'm giving a gift to a stranger, that's the best way I can do it. And I'm just looking at this going, I don't know if the poems will be under a minute, but it certainly gives me a way of showcasing another aspect of what I'm actually doing. And I do understand something very important. I've already got 3 poetic anthologies I'm working on putting together that may not be all, depending on if I get submissions from other people, okay, then I will look at it from that end. Christopher, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And the fact of the matter is, Christopher, whenever you go to anybody's chat, okay, and this applies to everybody out there that's listening, that is responding in the chat room or not. Whenever you go into somebody else's chat room, honestly, they've got rules there. Do not get upset by the rules. Just simply follow the laws of the land in which you are. In this chat room, okay, in this chat room, it literally boils down to, if you've got a comment, whether it's got anything to do with the chat or not, this is a place where you are, as long as you're not being derogatory, or as I've had to block one person in 2 years of doing this, okay, I've had to block one person from the room. Because the one thing I will not permit is people putting up a bunch of links, unless you're a moderator. And fortunately, the moderators in here have taken to the idea of going, I've got a link I'd like to put up. Can I put it up? Okay. But the people putting links in various fashions, where you type it out and you print out the word dot, this sort of thing. I only warn once now. It's like, don't do it. the one that we had to ban, I wasn't the only one saying it. Couple of big factors there, Derek. Your books will literally be heading out tomorrow. Okay, ran into a few things, but they're all packaged. I don't know. What I do know is if you were to buy it through Amazon, number one, I'm not going to see a thing on it. They'll get it. Yes, it's cheaper. The two big factors. Okay, one is the one that I'm about to ship out to you is signed. Okay. Now, I have no idea if they've got any left in stock. Okay, I do know that I've already talked to the company I'm going to be working with, Community Futures. If they take me on, I will be dealing with them, and if not, I will be dealing with a copyright lawyer and figuring out how to get things moved. How to get it all straightened out properly. So I just don't have an answer for you at this point. Intriguingly enough, iVoices, if you're referring to the links, probably, if you're referring to anything else, I've been my own person for a very long time. And that, there's an old saying, Philip, that goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Well, I will tell you this. If you don't tell somebody where they're making a miscalculation, okay, then quite frankly, how are they ever going to know about it? Okay, this is why I will tell people, including in restaurant, if I go there, and, quite often, if I'm not happy, I just don't return. Well, fortunately, where it comes to restaurants, I only go to one and I'm quite content there. But I don't watch a whole lot in the way of videos. Quite often, I'll have a movie running in the background. Yeah, gotta go through all my emails tonight, but that's okay. One of the things I look at is this. When you're content, things will work great. Okay, what is tomorrow? Get that out of the way because it's just plain annoying me at this point. Let's deal with this. Move picks to row. So I've got a number of things I've got to do. Question for you guys. Okay. Let me here's a really odd question because I'm actually looking into Vistaprint. I don't know, I'll be looking into Etsy and what have you. Ouch. But let me ask you this. If you were looking at a coffee cup, what do you consider a decent price? And I realize if you can get it for $1.50, this is great. Okay. But I'm talking about specialty coffee cups. In this case, I'll be designing some from my own collection, from my own inventory, as it were. Oh, that's terrible there, Philip. Philip goes, same here, but our favorite restaurant chose to permanently retire. Oh, retire during lockdowns. It was a Thai restaurant. Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of people had to do that. This is why, even through lockdown, the restaurant that I go to chose to stay open. Okay, so I was in there as frequently as I could just to help keep them running. Probably spent more money than I should have, but what the heck? I'm just starting to look into the market or into the paraphernalia side of things. Yeah, that's where I usually get mine. Although I do have two. Like this one was actually given to me for Christmas. Okay, I actually got given. It was weird. I got given a couple of coffee cups from my bank. Right. I'm a firm believer that, frankly, if I can get something for least expensive, I will. But on the other hand, there are advantages. You know, but I'm just looking at ways that I can take the company that I've got and turn it into something that will actually make an impact on the world. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm targeting the people that do desire to change themselves, the desire to put the effort in. This is why I say the tools I talk about are the ones I personally use. Yeah, Chuckles, if you're talking about our Keith designs or something to put on a coffee cup, here's one. I'm not writing ahead. Oh, I don't know. I figure I'm perfectly fine in my head. Of course, they might call that delusional. No, actually, in my case, Philip, it was Toronto Dominion. It's the bank I personally deal with. But no, I haven't figured out exactly where I'm going with that. My first priority is still the writing, and now I'm looking at doing the work to get a publishing company up and running so that you guys that have something that you'd like in print can get there. Okay. But I do believe there's somebody I know in town here that I can absolutely talk to and see what they come up with. Because I'm just doing the research side of it right now. You know, the obvious one, from my standpoint, is that forward comment that I use all the time. I am worth it. Okay. You pick up a coffee, and when you pick it up, if it says that on this side, or just in case you're left handed, says, a mirror image, not a bad move. At least not in my eyes. Okay. But the whole trick to figuring out where your future is not to figure out what you'd like it to look like. That's the one miscalculation most people make. You don't look at what you'd like it to look like. Because I'll tell you, in 20 years, you may not like the same thing. But if you look at your life the way it is and you go, am I content with this? And the answer is no. Make a modification to it. Change something in it that you're not content with. Redirect the energy to something you are content with. Okay. That would be one of the biggest things that we have to take into consideration. And this makes way too much sense. Where are we? Just marking down a couple of other things I'm just adding to my list to make sure I get rid of, that I get dealt with. Because, like I said, I've got 8 books in print now, and I've got to talk to one person. I think they've got it. I found out how much it is, so I'm going to get something done with him. Also known as human morning go-juice. But there's a number of options there, and I just have to figure out pricing to find out how to deal with it. So that's going to take a little bit of research for obvious reasons. There we go. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I will deal with those as we go along. But like I said, don't try to figure out what you figure your life would be better like. Look at your current life right here, right now. This is where it makes a difference. Okay. And absolutely, I like that. I haven't watched it yet, but it is on my list. Black Dragon, that is just terrible. Black Dragon writes, just another thing for the coffee cup. I am a figment of your imagination, and I'm a figment of your imagination till I drink my coffee. Yeah, honestly, Philip, I'll show you how that works. Sort of. Okay. This is the normal way that I do things. Okay. Take a sheet of loose leaf paper. Right. I'll take a sheet of loose leaf paper and write it out by hand. Then I type it onto the computer. Okay. And you'll notice that it's printed out. And then I turn around and I'll make adjustments to it. I'll edit it on paper. Okay. Then I put the adjustments into the computer. Once I've done that and done all the expansion I require, because as it goes along, okay, print off a few pages, right, that I've got transferred onto paper, right, so you've got all the printing here. And then down below, I just carry on writing. Once I've expanded as far as I desire to, then I turn it over and we go through line by line with my editor to make certain that it gets put together properly. Where we look for inconsistencies, for punctuation problems. Like for instance, we went through it. I'm going through all three books because I'm writing the third one, but we're going back and editing the other two. I made a decision while I was writing book 12 that when you're using the word okay, inside a quote, as in when somebody is speaking, I decided to simply use the word okay, just the two letters. But when it's being written in part of the narrative, without the speech around it, then I'll spell it OKAY. These are just simple inconsistencies that we're going through and changing to make certain it all fits through all of the books. But this way I've got that's essentially the method that works. Net result, after it goes to the editor and we go through everything, then eventually we get to this point. Okay, because once it's gone through the editor, then it ends up in this form, and that's when it hits the market. I find it so much easier because I can only sit for so long at the computer. I've made the mistake of spending days at the computer and then spend a week trying to get my back working. But yeah, when I said I'm old school, I wasn't kidding. Put that back where it belongs. Would be nice if my hands worked on occasion, but that's not always the case. But no, that's the way that the writing goes. And I think what I might do, and what have we got here? Just want to make sure I didn't miss something. That's next. Oh, that's got to go back. Like I said, if you don't get in the habit of putting things back where they belong, then you run into some interesting problems. As in, you end up with a real major disaster in the way of, of stuff being lost. That's the one benefit that this whole fire thing has done, is it really got me to look at the idea of finding the old paperwork that I hadn't filled out and get it dealt with. Okay. It's like I was talking to the lady in the park today that I mentioned. Okay. I've already got the paperwork to put my last will and testament together. No, I'm not dying anytime soon. In all fairness, I'm planning on outliving half the people I know. And I am referring to the people that are younger than me. I will tell you, fun may not be the right word. Yeah. Also hammer and chisel on a clay tablet. Well, you know what you do there, Philip? You can buy papyrus over the internet. They still sell papyrus, from what I gather, out of Egypt. Actually, I wonder. I actually used to have a sheet that I bought of papyrus. I just don't know what happened to it offhand. Of course, that's what I get for things getting a little sidetracked. But here's the thing, Philip. You've got something that you desire to learn, okay, or to experience. Absolutely, don't think about it. Make it happen, okay? Because the reality is, when you make it happen, you can go, I did that, now I don't have to do it anymore. And you get rid of this concept of, I wish I had done that. One of the obvious examples of things I wish I had done was get a better relationship with my parents before they did pass away. I can't do anything about that now. Okay. Well, not drinking that. I do not like chewy coffee. Oh, yeah. And that was done quite consistently. And no, I'm not going to take, when I said I'm opening and printing a publishing company, I will not be publishing it on real skin. More to the point, I won't be publishing it on real human skin. Now, that said, I may eventually go into that esoteric side of, like, there's one pelt I would love to get done. I don't have the time or the dexterity at this stage of my life to figure out how to get into proper tanning to do it myself. But there is one particular artifact in the Yldrbac Chronicles that I will one day get around to getting made. Unfortunately, what I tried to do with some of the artifacts, the chap that was doing them, due to health issues, had to quit before they were finished. Okay, so I don't know if I'll ever get them done at this point, because I've already spent a fortune on them. But trying to get it sorted out is going to be a bit of a problem. Yeah, and I really do strongly encourage you to do that, Joe. From my standpoint, it really boils down to this. Okay. Right now, they're still live. I'll tell you from personal experience, far easier to actually get that relationship worked out now than it is after they pass away. I'm in the process of reestablishing friendship and reestablishing relationships with my last two brothers. Unfortunately, the other two I can't do anything about. They've already passed. Now one we passed on really good terms. Do not do that. one of my brothers, when he passed, we already had a real solid relationship. The other one that passed, not as close as it should have been. So I'm looking at it now going, I've got to make the effort to put things to right. It's like I've spent really 50 years hiding from the world. And at this point, it's time to step out of the shadows and really start to make an impact. The only way that's going to happen is if I do that. And again, all the tools in the world, I can give them to you, but if you don't pick them up, they're not going to happen. Okay. Just thinking here, and I'm not going to think too long about it, but one of the things, and what have I got here? Put that on my list of things for tomorrow. Well, actually, it's for today, but it may carry over. Topics for stream. Because I do desire to get that a little more organized than I have been. Oh, nice, Philip. I mean, not the disaster in the first place, but Philip's going, I have good relationship with my parents after a big family disaster born out of lack of communication. Yeah, and sometimes it takes a lot of effort to really let that negative past thing go. But when I talk to people, I talk about the idea of forgiving your past. It's not forgiving somebody that has created a problem for you. It's not so much about absolving them of responsibility, so much as letting things settle so that you are not dragging that weight with you. That's the big thing I look at there. And again, it boils down to this. If you desire your future to be brighter than what it is, change what you're doing right now that's holding you up. And bear in mind, regardless of what conversation you're having, regardless of the argument, regardless of if your relationship has come apart, and let's say you had a marriage that was great and it fell apart, most people tend to point the finger at somebody else or at the other person. I will tell you right now, in 50 years of doing this work, in 50 years of doing this kind of work, what I found is where communication is involved, in no case have I ever found it not to be a 50-50 issue. Everybody, every single relationship problem I had, every single communication problem I came across, be it business, relationship, friendship, doesn't matter. Well over 100,000 clients, I've never seen a situation where it wasn't a 50-50 problem. Okay, now Philip's going, how's your relationship with aunts and uncles? Well, mine's pretty simple. Literally all of my aunts and uncles are dead. Okay, so I get along fine with them. And as for cousins, I don't even know if I have any left alive, because I haven't spoken to my cousins simply because of circumstance. Simply because of circumstance, we lost contact. A lot of that had to do with the fact that I lost contact to start with and didn't bother looking. This is absolutely correct, Black. Black Dragon is just saying to forgive is not for the other person. It is for you so you can move on. And remember, we're talking about forgiving the past, not forgetting. Okay. By the way, let us hit refresh here. Just because I want real-time information, or more to the point, I desire the real-time information. And right now, we are sitting, Sometimes it'll jump a little during the day, during a broadcast. It was funny yesterday, my stream yesterday, we had, like, it's only a 2 hour draw, but before the end of the day, I was told that it had been seen for 20 hours. Okay, which I'm not complaining about the turnout on that at all. But, I look at it this way. I'm not content with where my life currently is. So the stuff I'm not content with is going away. And it's just that simple. Okay. So now I'm just going to be looking at it and going, okay. Like, for instance, I've got I think I've got 4 books that I'm in the middle of reading. Never mind the ones I'm in the middle of writing. But I am making a commitment to myself to get them read and racked off and then marked. That I have read them. Because I do know I don't read enough. I'm not about to, to get to get a perception on how other people communicate. I'm certainly not going to turn to watching the news to find out how that goes. I'll settle for my own way on doing that one. And where are we? Okay. Now, I can feel my throat starting to go, in case you couldn't tell. So, again, what have we got? Before I go there. Phil's just going, I have an uncle I really enjoyed being around as a child, but now he just wants to talk about politics, complaining about politics. He loved music. I'd rather talk to something like that. Absolutely. And Joe's going, sadly, I have 5 sisters. I don't keep in contact with them much. 3 of them aren't living their best life. And the reality there is not everybody will live their best life. My sister I haven't spoken to since 1986. 1993 was the last time I actually talked to her. Okay. So it's been 30 years since I spoke to her. But frankly, she disowned me. No, that's not her fault. It was her fault she disowned me. It was my fault that I went into the metaphysical world. But with that and with all of this in mind, okay, I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing your time with me here today. Really do appreciate it. And I'll tell you, your support and the support I see you guys giving each other really does warm my heart. I really do appreciate it more than I, quite frankly, know how to convey. But I do have to call it a night. And with that in mind, if you haven't already, if you like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. It will be greatly appreciated. I will be back again tomorrow, assuming I don't die or something equally inconvenient. Okay, but until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.